Hi friends, this is Marilyn from tarotclarity.com, and I know I haven't been as regular with the videos, and I do apologize. I've kind of like, I should probably just tell you, we're dealing with a cancer diagnosis for my husband, and it's been a little rough past couple of weeks, and I guess it took the wind out of my sails, and I haven't been coming on here as often. But a few of you have reached out because you're used to seeing me do videos, and I felt like I should say something. But as far as that goes, we're very optimistic. The news we got last week was probably about as good a news as we could have expected. And so we're optimistic about that. So thank you very much. I thought, and today I decided, it's my birthday, damn it. And I wanted to do something nice for myself. And I always enjoy doing videos, so I figured I'll do a video. And I had a visit with my son and his family, and that was nice too. And I heard from all my kids, I thought I would do a video, a reading today on The Great Parade by Cumpstey. Now, I know I featured it a month or two ago, maybe, as a preview of the deck that I bought, but then I didn't do anything with it, and it's really a great deck, and I wanted to use it. We'll use it to do a demonstration reading. If you haven't seen the review of it, I did it a couple of months ago or weeks ago. It's probably just simply called The Great Parade by Cumpstey. That's probably what it's called. Now, during that video, I had noticed that a few of the cards stuck and a few of the cards were damaged. And I want to really send out a kudos to him because I mentioned it to him, and I got a replacement for the cards immediately, like within a week or two, And in fact, I hadn't even noticed that a few more cards had been damaged than I had mentioned, and he was so generous, he had already sent a few extra, so I got all the cards replaced, plus the ones I failed to notice at the time that I wrote him. So good people, Cumpstey, definitely good people. This particular deck, as I mentioned, comes with a few little cards. It comes with a little thank you, which is always nice. And then the title. And then it has the order that one would have expected to see in Bologna, where the angel card, the judgment card, comes last, and then the world card comes first. And then it also gives us the Marseille order, which is the order that most of us are used to, with the exception of justice and fortitude, which the occultists switched. AE weight switched that up. So I'm going to do a demonstration reading. I'm going to use this deck, and give me a couple of minutes to think of a good question. And I'll flip the camera and put the focus on the cards. Okay, so just a few things before I lay the cards. It's a rare, beautiful day here, and so I've opened the windows, and so you will hear street noise. So I do apologize because people are taking advantage of the beautiful day, and they're out and about riding their motorcycles and just having fun. So you will hear some noise. Now, I don't typically do this. I don't do a reading on behalf of someone else. It's just not the way I do things. However, today, my daughter wants it done. And so I'm going to do it, and she said do it and use it as an example for your followers. So thank you to my daughter, Ellen. My daughter and her husband just bought a house that is 100%, no questions asked, haunted. As you know what. And but it's got such a great vibe. It's not a it's a good vibe, you know. I've been there a number of times now to feel it, you know, and it feels good. Although I'm definitely aware of a presence there. But we want to know, like, what are we dealing with? You know, I'm in my home now, so I'm not, you know, tempting them, you know, being in their presence or anything like that. But my daughter would like to know what it is that she needs to know about this house, or anything that the house or the individuals who wants to live there think it's important for us to know. We do know that the house was built in 1925. And we do know that it had a few long stay residents. And we do know that the last couple, each one of them died in the house. But they were, you know, an elderly couple who everybody loved and adored, so we have nothing to fear from them. But, you know, the house existed, you know, 60 years before them, and, you know, there are other considerations. So we just want to know what we're dealing with this house. So, having said that, let me lay the cards. Wow, pair of nines. And here we have the scales of justice, right? We have justice here. And right above it, we have a woman, you know, a maiden, you know, with two pentacles, which is kind of an interesting parallel, you know. And we have a pair, the Queen and the King, of the same suit, which is also kind of interesting. So let me pull the quintessentials and put them on the end, and then I'll get to the reading. Alrighty, so this is kind of an interesting spread. We've got a pair of nines that parallel one another, and then we have a page. So we have a row of nines. You know, they're different. One is a baton, and the other is the suit of swords. But they both sort of have a sense of like a barricade or a little bit of a wall. But it opens up. It minimizes with the two of batons. Now, you know, you'll see that with this reading, you know, sometimes you don't just say the nine of batons means this and the nine of swords mean this and the two of batons means this. But if you see cards, you know, as they relate to one another or a visual, they may strike you in that way. And I think that's why it's important for me sometimes, or for any, you know, tarot readers, to do demonstration readings, because it's important to note that you don't always have to interpret the cards as though each card has a meaning. They all do have meanings, right? But sometimes the meaning comes to you in a visual, right? We have this right here. It's like, you know, maybe whatever's there or whatever, you know, is present is guarded, but then it opens up. Now, I don't think they're entirely too guarded, because you know how when you go to, you watch movies about houses that just call an individual and the people felt like this house is calling us? Well, this house called them. And it even called me, you know, as an extension of them. And, you know, we're very, very aware of the fact that this house wanted them. And, you know, in this market, right now, how it is that, you know, to get your hands on a house, it's like near impossible. And they saw 60 houses before they saw this house. So they've been out there really trudging. which is where the Fortitude card, I think, comes into play. But it was like they had no well, I'm not going to say they didn't have any obstacles, because the house is in need of TLC. So there are a few obstacles, However, it was like they saw the house, they were called to the house. It's like the house wanted them, and they got the house, And although it's in need of TLC, it's their house, And, I just wanted to put that out there, because that's how I'm going into this reading, with that understanding. Now you'll see, and I think I laid the quintessential. What we do know is that there was an older couple, and here we have a pair, the Queen and the King of Cups. Very loving people. Everybody in the neighborhood who came to my daughter to talk to her about and her husband about the residents, said they were wonderful people. They lived there for 40 years or 30 years or whatever. And, they would love the fact that there's a baby living in the house with them and all that. So we get like that kind of a good vibe. And I guess essentially I'm just looking to see if this verifies what we think we already know. We have the card of time, an elder, So it seems as though, the people who live here invest their time there. The last people who bought the house, they bought it as an estate sale of the couple. And this is interesting. They bought it. They lived there for 2 weeks, and they took off, So the house wasn't for them, So I want to put that out there too. In fact, they didn't even show up for closing. I mean, they took off, like bats out of hell. But we don't get that vibe, we really don't. And we were both very sensitive people, and me in particular. I mean, I pick up on that kind of stuff, and I know that there's a presence, and I just feel it as soon as I went in there. And I knew things about the house that I would have no way of knowing. Like, I know there was a secret room. I knew that it involved somehow the kitchen and the room above it, and that's where they ended up finding the secret room. So I do have a sense of being able to feel things, but I don't know everything. I just get impressions, right? So, and then, that's, a reason why, based on what we think we already know, that these cards might be helpful to us. As a quintessential in the middle row, we see the Sun card, which is a card of, very good, very optimistic, and the combination of the Father Time and the Sun card, in combination of knowing that, the couple who invested 40 years and lived here all those years, that they were an older couple, and it was in their obituary that I read, it said that this home was their dream home. And, that's kind of like how my daughter and her husband are. They feel that this home is their dream home. So this could represent both the older couple, who most recently invested their lives there, not the ones that came and took off. And then my daughter and her husband, because they're both creative people. Like, he's a carpenter, she's an artist. This house was made for them. And I think they were just the right people to buy the house. It's, the 42 card tells us that it's going to require a little TLC, but they knew that going in. And it is a spiritual place. I think they can expect, based on what I'm seeing here, and this quintessential card for this row, since the female pope was the only number represented that could be counted, I had to, get the quintessential card from another deck. I used the Lombardi deck by Patrick Valenza of Deviant Moon Inc. I used, it just happened to be the deck that was on the table. So, there's a presence, right? The female pope is a card of spirituality. Listen to her instincts. And there's definitely, that pull about this house. But I don't think they have anything to fear at all. I think they found their dream home, and I think they're going to be investing a number of years in this home, just like the other couple did. And I think it was meant to be theirs. Anyway, I just thought I'd put this out there, and I hope my daughter sees this. Sometimes she's slow in, watching my videos, but I hope she, sees it and feels some comfort in feeling and knowing and recognizing that what we sense about the house and what we think we already know is true. It may take a while for the essence of the house to open up, but it will. It will open up. And always to listen to her instincts. If she thinks she feels something or whatever, she probably does. Her and her husband have found their dream home too, just like Willie and Edna. And it's the kind of place where you grow old together. Until next time, friends, peace and stay well.